Assalamu alaikum. My name is Raheen Fatma. I'm 12 years old and I study in class 70, the CCI campus. I am a stand-up comedian, writer, entrepreneur, international speaker, and a theater actress. The coronavirus has brought for us the unprecedented crisis. This natural calamity has disturbed the life of all human beings on earth. Over the last 3 months, I have conducted 150 interviews of national and international personalities discussing the 3 fundamental questions about the post-COVID-19 world: education, business, and social life after COVID-19. Let's see some of the responses.
All right, we are recording and we are live. Hello, Raheen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Hello. Okay, so don't make me laugh, okay? Hello and assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for coming. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, citizens of the world, and hello, junior citizens of the world, because I'm guessing that I am addressing a much younger population. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. My name is Shaba Shams, and I am an Algerian-born entrepreneur who currently lives in Florida. So it's really beautiful. The weather is gorgeous. I have spent my entire adult life helping people learn. And I'm just excited about life, and I'd like to impact people in a very positive way.
That's awesome. And so, like, how do you think that the education system would be impacted by Corona, like education after Corona?
Well, a lot of things are impacted by COVID-19, about the life after Corona, and it's just a reality that we have to embrace and become. Instead of complaining about it and being bitter and angry at it, we cannot change it. So we have really to learn how to adapt to the environment and tell ourselves, what can we do to make things better for us, and really just experience this test of life in a positive way. So the impact is huge. It's monumental. Of course, we can no longer do things the way we do. We can no longer live the way we do. So being forced into social distancing, keeping distance from your friends, your family, and your loved ones already has a huge impact on yourself, especially for you guys. It must be super hard because childhood and then kids your age are supposed to be out and about, connecting and enjoying one another. So I cannot even imagine what's the impact on your demographic. However, when we talk about now how it's impacting the educational system, clearly we're going or moving into virtual and digital platforms, which has been introduced in the life of adults for a while now, because a lot of adults, as you know, when they are juggling family and work and they need to improve their life and livelihood by going to university, so they go and attend colleges online. And there are a lot of institutions or academic and institutes that had created opportunities for kids to learn online. So that's going to be the new norm. That's going to be the normal norm. However, my concern with this is, of course, the socioeconomic differences between kids who come from underprivileged families, who don't have a computer at home, who don't have access to the internet, who rely on schools for food, for everything, for their learning. What kind of a disadvantage it's gonna be on them, because not everybody is fortunate to have, a cell phone and a computer, as you know, Raheen, right? So, yeah. And especially in the third world, I can only imagine the impact. Even in America, we're having this problem now where kids who are underprivileged, they don't have access to food or internet or computers. So how is it going to play out in their growth and their learning, and how is it going to? So it is a huge impact. I think this is where governments and different nonprofit companies and organizations need to come together and really create a plan on how to really think about those kids who don't have access to learning because of the socioeconomic status, and how we can help them.
Yeah. And so, like, because you're a businesswoman yourself, so what do you think about business after the COVID-19?
Um, I always like to be positive. However, I'm going to say it's tragic because clearly businesses can no longer operate in the same manner. So they have really, again, this is where, innovation is very important. They have to learn new ways to reinvent themselves in a way that they can make a living and income in this new landscape. So a lot of companies actually have found ways in either moving their businesses online or even creating like the curb appeal thing with the curb service thing or whatever. So they are coming up with solutions to help businesses survive or even move from survive to thrive. But it's not going to be an easy thing. And if governments are not willing to help small businesses, especially, I don't think there is much that really we can do to save them. But I think going online right now and reinventing some of what we do is kind of a must at this point.
Yes. And I also feel like, now, businesses would realize that if they're not digital, if they do not have, websites, or they do not have, apps, it's hard for them to survive as a business because, maybe something else shows up as well. So it's just, something that would keep the business going and running. And
so before we jump to the next question, here's kind of a very important point that a lot of these businesses who are on a traditional style and format, they're not even technology oriented. So a lot of these business owners, they don't even know how to use a technology. But here is a good opportunity for those of us who are super comfortable with technology to teach these people how to use technology, how to leverage the use of technology to create income and grow a business. So whenever a door closes, another one opens. So if some type of businesses are going to be going away, other opportunities and new opportunities are going to emerge to create a new form of businesses. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes total sense. And so what do you feel like social life would be after Corona? Because that I feel like would immensely change.
Yes, actually, it has changed. It has changed for us since March, probably. We were on lockdown, and so like for instance, I live with my husband. They're just the two of us. Alhamdulillah, our property is big enough that we can go work outside. We can, enjoy the pool. We have a home gym, so we can work out at home. So we created a lifestyle, and my husband and I, we get really along really well. Alhamdulillah, we're good friends and we can spend, we do everything together. So for us actually living in this enclosure where we're doing everything together and we play games, we watch movies, we work out, we cook together, we clean together. So for us, we have created a little nest that keeps us sane, that keep us balanced and happy. And he's an engineer. He's a project manager for the state of Florida, where he manages multi-million-dollar project for the roads and for the bridges and things like that. So he's doing most of his work at home, and we share the same office. And the fact that we do get along, for us, it was kind of a positive experience. However, I see how it's impacting other people. It's a lot of changes, especially for people who live alone. I have friends who are completely depressed. I have friends who are completely down. They are people oriented, they need people to be happy, and they're really having a hard time. But this is the truth of the matter. This is going to be our new norm. This is going to be our new reality. So the sooner we start social distancing, the sooner we start wearing masks, the sooner we start understanding that we need to protect ourselves and others, and respect what we need to do and not be arrogant about it. The concern that I'm seeing is that some people, they're just like almost challenging God, challenging the disease. And it's like, oh yeah, I can beat COVID, I can beat Corona. And this is not the right attitude, because this is a test and we need to come together and learn a new way of life. Whether how you create balance, how you create harmony, how you pray, how you meditate, how you do different things that really bring you a lot of joy. Alhamdulillah, I've been doing it, and actually I think that I'm lucky enough that I've handled this whole lockdown and isolation pretty well, just because I quickly understood what it was and I created an alternative. And I think that's what people need to do, whether for their education, whether for their social, whether for their business. They need to find alternatives. What else can we do to not just survive but thrive? What else can we do? How can we create happiness and joy and balance in our lives, and then just continue having fun, and enjoy this life? Because just because I cannot go out and do the normal things that I do, it doesn't mean that it's in the end of the world. And I need to make the best of it. What can every person do to make the best of the situation? So what would you do, Rahim, to make the best of it?
I feel like having interviews and connecting with like people like you, because Shaba, I met you like, I feel like 2-3 weeks ago. I mean, it hasn't been long, but we've been so good friends like after we met. So I feel like it's all about, how you socialize in this situation, because that's really going to help for people who are people oriented, connecting and still talking and having Zoom meetings and everything. So I feel like that really, really helps.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. And like for instance, if there is a park nearby where you can go take a walk sometimes, like for instance, we do a lot of walks on the beach. We live 30 minutes away from the beach, so we make sure that we are social distancing from people. There are a lot of hiking trails, like forests and, really beautiful places. We also go as long as there is nobody. Like if we see the park really packed with cars, we come back. We also go biking, so the physical exercise is important. We connect with people like this, mashallah. I've met so many people from, Pakistan, and it's amazing just to get to know them. And I think finding just different ways of coping, and instead of sitting in the corner whining and crying and being miserable, go out there and see who you can help, who you can have a conversation with, who you can impact, who you can lift up, who you can put a smile on their face. I mean, there are just so many different things that we can do in these circumstances that touch people's heart and lift us up. So why not, just go for it. I used to do actually cooking videos too. I used to shoot video recordings of me cooking, and then I have few that are on the internet. I don't even know if I still have them out there, but just share what you know, what you like, have fun with it, and this shall pass. This shall pass. So just hang in there and do the things that make you happy.
That's so true. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for sharing all this information and sharing your point of view of life after Corona.
During Corona is not over yet, at least not in America. Thank you, Raheen, for having me. Thank you.
It was awesome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello and assalamu alaikum and welcome. Can you please introduce yourself?
Wa alaikum assalam, Raheen. Yes, my name is Hassan Syed, and I'm from Hyderabad, Pakistan. I was born and brought up over there, and left Pakistan 30 years ago. And I was out of country for that much time, and now I'm back. I'm running a program under the Prime Minister office called Kamyab Jawani Startup Pakistan. So that is the idea I came up with, and I'm here to actually execute on that project.
Yes. And so what do you think education will be after the COVID-19 virus?
Well, education is going through rapid transformation. Actually, coronavirus has accelerated the things that were supposed to happen over a longer period of time. They are happening at a shorter period of time. So the biggest thing that education was waiting for is the transformation from the traditional method of delivering the education to the 21st century methods of delivering the education. Now we look at education delivery through digital medium, at a very small basics, in a very basic sense. And that is like this, we are talking to each other. But 21st century education beyond that is virtual reality and augmented reality that we are not even seeing in the material because material doesn't exist. So you will see a rapid transformation worldwide in education where more and more universities and colleges and schools would get into virtual reality. And that may take another year or two post corona, but then that would be much faster than originally people were anticipating.
Yes, because the realization has come of working from home and studying at home. That's easier. I actually have my breakfast like I'm studying. So yeah, it's really fun and comfortable to do. So what about business? Because you've been business for very long, and that also in like very different countries around the world. So
Mhm.
what do you think? How do you think Corona will impact the business sector?
Well, I think there are certain sectors that are worst hit by corona. And so there are temporary challenges like transportation is a temporary challenge, right? So that sector is temporary. But then there are permanent damage that is being done to some sectors, for example, retail. Retail is one of the biggest sector that is affected by corona, and their what you call downward spiral has been accelerated because of that. Of course, everybody knows that everybody is going for the what you call e-commerce, and slowly e-commerce was increasing, but suddenly in the past 6 months, e-commerce has gone really fast up, and then it will continue that trend. So retail is going to be the biggest challenge. Now, the second part is transportation itself. Though the current damage to the transportation is temporary, but longer term, as people will work more from home, study more from home. So imagine Pakistan school ke andar how many kids go in the morning with the transport, right? So there are those Suzukis and and other modes where 50 kids are all kind of pushed in that is small vehicle, and then suddenly they are not needed because students are studying from home, or the buses or the points for the universities, they're all gonna reduce in numbers, so that's going to be an impact. So retail and transportation are the major impact, but then there are going to be other areas that would follow through because there are dependencies on retail. Then there are logistics, which is about transportation, making moving goods from one place to another, not the transportation but the logistics of goods. So that is going to be also affected. So these are major sectors, but then there is business booming part, which is education, which online, and that education would boom. Similarly, healthcare is transforming due to corona. People cannot go to the hospitals, so that's another area. So there are lots of areas that will benefit from it.
Yes, and especially the hospital problem I'm personally facing as well because of my brother. So I get, the doctors say do not come to the hospital, but we have to go to the hospital. So there's a lot of stuff happening there. And what about the
Yeah.
social life? Because socializing is through Zoom. We both have not met for a very long time. After Corona, we could not meet, but virtually we met like a lot.
Yes. Absolutely. This is also another corona benefit, I would say, that people are recognizing that the distances don't matter anymore, right? You can have a Fatiha on Zoom. There are people who are doing Quran Khatam, on Zoom, or marriage ceremonies, right? They're doing on Zoom. So there are lots of things that that will be possible online. They were possible before, but now people have the thinking, that it can be done. So that trust is being built on that online, and that's going to change a lot of social behavior.
Yes, and I feel so lucky that I learned Zoom at a very young age. And I learned Zoom before my school asked me to learn all those kind of stuff. So I feel like, okay, I know when to mute myself or to unmute myself. So how do you think technology learning, because in this Corona thing, it's like digital things are like imposed on us, because we kind of have to do it in order to study and to gain knowledge. So what do you think is going to be our future like in technology if we start learning all that stuff now? Because you are really techy. I mean, you have all those headphones and everything around you. And
Yeah.
also, like, you have a digital incubation center, that too the world's largest. So what do you have to say about that?
So first of all, I want to tell all the kids, all your friends and everybody, that the future is going to be starkly different. It's not going to be the way how we live right now. And to give you an idea, that 50% of everything that is being done, 50% of everything that people do for work can be automated with the technology that exists today. And this is the statement that was made 3 years ago. So the work, the way we do things is going to be extremely different from how things are done today. And you guys have to be ready for that. And you guys have to take seriously the importance of technology, that not as the technologist, not as a person who actually make the technology happen, but as a user of technology, to be able to be comfortable in using that. And you are, you all the time using your phones, you're talking to each other through the technology. Just don't be, afraid of, and just be open to what technology can do and how it can be used.
Yes, that's awesome advice. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Thank you so much for sharing all the things that you did and all the information and words of wisdom. And inshallah, I hope to see you again.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you, Raheen. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, and welcome to the show, Samantha.
Hey, how are you, Raheen? It's good to see you.
It's nice to meet you too. So can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Samantha Rose Paprin. I am from New York City. I'm a healer, teacher, public speaker, and soon-to-be author. How are you today? Who are you?
So I'm Raheen Fatma, and I'm 12 years old. I am a stand-up comedian, a writer, an entrepreneur, a teacher, and a theater actor. And yeah, cool. So like this COVID-19 thing has taken over, and now like everybody knows about this. It's all over the place. So what do you think would be the future of education after the coronavirus? How does the education sector gets impacted by this virus?
Well, I see a lot of opportunity for homeschooling to make a greater impact on our planet, and more alternative schools that are based outside of classrooms and more, in nature and in healthier environments. I don't particularly like what I see the ideas are in the United States with having very sectioned off classrooms, and I feel like there's just different ways, and they're going to have to find out how to ensure safer sanitation in schools and hygienic rules, I assume, or really step back into more simpler times where we're doing homeschooling and alternative schooling methods.
Yes, and I feel really lucky that my teachers, whenever, we kind of convince her to take us outside because it's a good weather. So yeah, we kind of study outside in the nature. It's really fun. So what about business's future? Because people now are getting really digital, and businesses which are not digital are having a lot of trouble to operate at the moment.
So yeah, I think we're moving back into a time of simplicity, like I said before. So I think for the businesses that are not digitized businesses or digital businesses, the ones that are more, what is the word I'm looking for? Oh no, I'm losing words. Product based, there we go. So I think that we're going to be doing more trade and barter. I think that we're going to use our energetics and telepathy and all of those interesting powers that we do have as human beings, but have been latent. I think that that's going to be our new currency and form of communication. And we're going to move into community living, where those businesses will be able to thrive again. And I also see this really beautiful global network that's being created. I mean, you're in Pakistan, I'm in United States right now, and we're working together and we're doing this stuff. We're having these conversations, and it's really beautiful that we have this capacity to do it in the digital world. But for the ones that are not digitized, we're moving more community-based and a trade and barter-based, I think. That's my intuition.
Yes. And because like we both are also working together on a business, and I feel like, businesses, crossing borders, because, it's no longer that, Samantha's in America. So, I will, there's no differences anymore, there's more like, it's the internet. Come on. We have the internet. So what about social life? Because social life, I feel like would have, would immensely change because, no, we are talking on Zoom. I would not wait for you to come to my country or me to go to yours. So, how do you feel like would it change the social life?
So I think we're moving into a lot of really beautiful community-based stuff, like I was saying, with like the in-person socialization. But now we have this opportunity, like you just said, from across the world, we get to hang out and we get to move into spaces like the co-reality space that we were at over the weekend, where you get to go and you meet people from all over the world, and you have these deep, beautiful discussions and connections with people that you never met, and you get to dance with them and be free with them and express yourself, and be silly and do all the things that we want to do with friends, from a computer screen across the world, and still feel each other's energy, still be so affected by, and still heal in the way that we would if we were meeting in person. Now, I still think that that's going to happen. We are still going to be meeting in person. We are still going to be able to travel. I think that we're moving into a time and space where that global connection is even greater and greater and greater, and to the point where, like, you coming to the United States or me going to Pakistan, it's going to be more of a simpler thing even, but that's not going to be the first, iteration of what is to come. That's what is coming. Like, the first iteration just is beginning this new world and stepping into it and building it and making that bridge and capacity to get there.
Yes. And so how do you feel like, I feel in this Corona thing, I even realized that, I would dress up too much, maybe for other people. People, they see me in a good condition, and now I feel like I'm better off in my pajamas. So how do you feel like, a lot of things that we do for others, not for ourselves?
Yeah, I think that we're also moving into a space of more simplicity. Like I said before, it's the same thing. It's going back. It's remembering that we're perfect as is. It's remembering that we're all connected. It's remembering that we're all one. It's remembering that we're all, just as perfect and just as flawed as the other person. And that our beauty is in our flaws, and that maybe our flaws are just societal constructs that aren't even real. And so, yeah, it's funny, we're able to show up. We're, beginning of quarantine. I think I've seen memes that say this is the beginning of quarantine, and it shows the person like dressed in like a ball gown for their Zoom meeting, and then like end of quarantine, and it's just like them with ratty hair and a coffee and their pajamas on, and they're like, whatever guys, what's up? Like, so I think we're moving to that space too, where we get to just fully accept who we are. Sorry, my dog is barking. Someone's trying to come through the house. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you edit this, or you?
Yeah, we're gonna edit this anyway.
Okay, 1 second. Hey, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. So yeah, you were saying.
I got distracted. What was I saying?
You were saying about that meme that you saw.
Oh yeah. So the meme, it was saying that beginning of coronavirus, we're dressing up, we're in our ball gowns, got our makeup on, we're ready for the Zoom call. By the end of coronavirus, it's us, raggedy hair, pajamas. We're not really caring. We're not wearing makeup. It's just like, what's up, guys? So we're moving into that space of simplicity again, where we just get to show up as ourselves, and we know that we're innately perfect, and that all of the societal construct stuff, all of the extra layers, all of the masks, if you will, don't need to be there. It can be taken off, and we can just be purely authentically ourselves, and that's exactly who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be.
Yes. And so like here I'm going to reveal something really special that Samantha, like we discovered about, I feel like a month ago, that Samantha is actually my soul sisters, and like we are into a collaboration. That's something that's so pretty because, you know, in this coronavirus situation, that's something that, you know, we're working on and something that we talk about from like being thousands of miles away and yet so connected.
So connected, soul family connected.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much for coming, Samantha. Thank you so much for all the stuff that you shared with us and your words of wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's so good seeing you. Have a beautiful day.
Hello and welcome. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, nice to meet you finally, Fatima. My name is Wael Al-Saad. I am from Palestine. I'm living right now in Germany, and I used to be in Germany for 17 years. Then I moved to Palestine for 10 years, and I decided to go back to Germany beginning of this year. And now I'm working on an entrepreneurship. I'm trying to establish a platform for new kind of trading where grassroots economy and solidarity economy is the subject of this kind of trading.
Yeah. And so like, what do you feel like would be life, would be life and especially like education after coronavirus?
Yeah, education will be more free, and people will have more access to education, and the people discovered new ways of getting access to education rather than the traditional ways. And for children, for example, they don't need more this disciplinary education that they have to go to the classes in certain series. And because with the coronavirus, they discovered out that they can do it differently, more flexible way. And for the elder education, I think it was also very good experience that the access for education is now more recorded, that the people, they can go ahead and check the lectures online whenever they have time for that, so they can work and then visit the lecture upon their free time. So there are no more. I think the people will find out that they are more free now, and they have more freedom in when and where they get their education material from and with whom.
Yes. And in your perspective, what would be business after the coronavirus?
Yeah, people discovering now that they don't need a lot of facilities, that they can work from everywhere actually, and they don't need the offices, and the whole infrastructure has been built for running the business. For many businesses seems to be obsolete. So I think, people will think about what to do with all of these buildings that we finding out we don't need them really. And and they don't have also to put a lot of pressure on the environment and to travel a lot to go to work. And yeah, it seems to be also positive from this point of view. And I think people now think more what's really important in business, what we really need to do in business, rather to do any kind of business to have access to money. And it is also yeah, it is an awareness advantage they have now, and people finding out that they need each other more than the business itself. So they have to organize themselves. So people in difficult countries, they have to be creative about how to overcome these circumstances.
Yes. And also discovering that, if you're not digital, there's very less chances that you will now survive as a sustainable business. And what do you think, how would our social life would be impacted by coronavirus?
Yeah, the source, I mean, people with the coronavirus know more with whom they want to hawk together. I mean, so for us in the Orient, maybe we have a lot of relationships, but they are not real. They are imposing you. They are imposing you because of that's the structure of the society. And with the limitations we have through over the corona crisis, we found out that these relationships are snobs. They are not useful, and this will make people think more about how to use their time instead of just being in this obligation that the society is putting on you. What I don't like, the separation of people, that they have to be separated in some countries. I mean, you cannot escape from the virus. And sometimes, if you have like more contact, you will have small portions of this virus, and maybe your immune system will deal with it. Yeah, maybe we have to hack this about the social relationships more. If you have further questions regarding that, what do you think yourself?
I feel like social life would change because, I see like if you have parties, if you want birthdays, you can just do it on Zoom. Like, on Eid, I got all my aunts and all my uncles together for on our Zoom meeting. So like, I feel like Zoom and StreamYard and like all these, where like online calls and basically being digital is how you would contact, because, you'll feel like there's no purpose of having a conference when you can just do it in your bedroom. So
yeah, exactly. The way we are now using more this digital meetings, we can meet the people we would like to meet, and we are making maybe new relationships with people we never know before, like you and me right now. And yeah, some people have problem to use this media. They're hesitating, or and then when a lot of people using that, they will break this fear of like being in touch with people they would maybe have a good relationship with, and do something meaningful together. Yeah, I see it as like that as well.
yes. And there actually could be some, jobs or businesses that would go down in this process of being digital, like, even planning and even planning and even management maybe would go down, because, if you hire, an event manager for your conference, there's no use of an event manager when you're having it on Zoom. All he could do is make a link for you that you could make yourself pretty easily.
Yeah. I think people will now think more about, as I said, about more meaningful work, and for people in developing countries, they will maybe invest more time in tilling the soil and producing their own food, and to build their own resilience, rather than doing any job for just having a job. And we will know more which kind of work is important for us as a society, rather than doing any work for money. And I think this is something positive.
Yes, that's so true. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and sharing all those thoughts and all that information with us. And inshallah, I'll see you soon again.
Inshallah. You're welcome. Anytime. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Hello and assalamu alaikum and welcome. So can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Krueger. I'm living in the north of Los Angeles, California, and I've lived in India a couple of years, very close to Pakistan. I was actually hijacked to Bangladesh. That's another story, but I've been an educator all my life, from middle school, which is about 11-year-olds, through university, through graduate schools, and presenting all over the world in 5 continents. And I love life and love being with everybody to uplift humanity.
Yes, that's so awesome. And I still remember interviewing you. It was so awesome. I mean, we talked about the hijacking and everything. So it's like really fun to see you again and talk to you again.
Good being with you. You're a dynamic little, I can't say little because you're not so little, but you're a dynamic communicator. And you're opening people to more of what they can be. And this is beautiful.
Thank you so much. So what do you think is the future of education after COVID-19?
I believe we're going to start actually educating after COVID-19. Right now, we have basically, if you look at the research, knowledge increases, doubles every 12 and a half minutes. Even if it's 12 and a half months, it doubles. But we have something we call education, which is basically regurgitating facts to be able to pass the test, to be able to get into your grades, to be able to go to university, and so on and so forth. Education is pulling forth from that person all the wisdom that God put inside.
Yeah.
God allows us to tap into, they call it intuition. It's because it's inside. They call it inspiration. It's inside. They call it intellect. It's inside. All these words in the English language, I'm not sure how it is in different languages and so on, but in English, there's a whole bunch of words that really make us understand that we have enthusiasm. It comes from within. So, because nothing triggered me to be enthusiastic just now. It's all inside.
Yeah, that's something that's really true. And what do you feel like is
I've been striving through.
And like, what do you think about like the future of business after the coronavirus?
Most people don't know there's something called a B corporation. A B stands basically for beneficial. So it has to benefit not only the company itself, including the employees, instead of treating them like something that they shouldn't be treated. Because if we treat each other with respect and love, according to the golden rule, which is in all the religions, then we are going to be treating others, and that includes the environment. This is where the B Corporation is incorporated, is that it brings the environment and everything around it, the community. If the community is not thriving, how can the company thrive? Who's going to buy the products or buy the services if the community is not thriving? So we get to look at how we can thrive as a civilization, a real civilization. That's what the new business is going to be like. It's going to be so much more hardy. We're going to look at you as a person instead of a product, or instead of a person who's just paying me for this or that.
And what about social life? Because I feel like that's going to be really, really impacted.
Oh boy, well, it is impacted right now for sure. And let me communicate one thing. Would you hold your one hand up and face my hand?
Yeah.
Hold your hand up facing my hand. That's it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put it exactly there, but face the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like we're connected now because we're becoming conscious that we are really connected. It's like putting our hands together. When we're on screen like this, and we feel the connection, because you feel it even more now, we can put our hand down and be more present with each other. We feel each other more. We may be thousands of miles away, but we feel each other because we're connected energetically. And science, physics, proves this. There's something called the morphogenic field theory of Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. He's out of the UK. You can research that. There's all kinds of research happening to prove what I'm saying is totally correct. And we get to be able to live much more connected. So we'll speak from the heart more. We'll be more authentic instead of treating you like a this or that or the other thing. There's not going to be so many others. We're going to be much more one together. And that's where we look at life as a gift, because it is. But the only way it's a gift is when we are present. And we get to be present with each other.
Yes, so that's really true. And I feel like we might actually realize that how much of things that we do are for others, not for ourselves, like, dressing up and maybe getting our haircuts and, all that stuff. So how do you feel that would change, doing stuff for others?
Well, there's the big key, because when we really understand this idea, there's really not another. We're all on one planet. We all live on the same planet. We get the fruit of all the labors of the people and the planet. But if we hurt the planet, if we harm the planet, then we will be harmed. And we've been harmed. This particular problem that everybody's in, I look at it as a blessing. It's blessed us with the time to reflect about how we can create a better society. It's blessed us with the time to be with our family, because we're hibernating together. But we're having great dialogues at dinner time. We're getting to pray together so much more. And our life is really getting to be fuller. Because if we're not connected within ourselves and within our family, what good is the rest of it?
Yes, that's so true. And thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for sharing all this stuff with us.
My pleasure. I thank you for having me. Anytime. Just give a call.